tuned. The show is about to begin. Stay tuned. The show is about to begin. Stay tuned. The show is about to begin.
Alrighty.
Stay tuned. The show is about to begin.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good Saturday morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am doing fine. Another Saturday morning on Fireside. Glad to be here.
You know what I love so much about Saturday morning?
What's that?
The fact that I was able to get 8 hours of sleep. It's like an intentional thing, right? I go to
Is
bed.
you
I
got
try to
eight
go to bed.
hours? Yeah.
Yes, I did. And I
Yeah.
feel so good. I can only do that on Friday, though.
That's
On
good.
Friday.
We well, first of all, welcome everyone to Earrings Off. This is our Saturday morning show. Thank you for joining us. Teresa, we have been talking to people, experts and, sleep doctors and all of that on our show about how important sleep is. So, yeah,
Yes.
I didn't get
Yeah.
eight. let me see. Last night, I think I might have gotten six. So,
Wow.
yeah, I did wake up, but I went back to sleep. So we're working on that. But you feel so much better when you get some
Oh,
sleep
so
in.
much better. And
Yeah,
unfortunately for me, I did wake up only because it was work related. Someone called me at midnight
yeah,
and
yeah.
it woke me up. And so I handled that and went, I mean, literally, as soon as my head hit the
Back to
pillow,
sleep.
I was right back to sleep.
Yeah, yeah. I
So,
tell you,
yeah.
and I'm just not a person who takes naps, so it's important to me to get a good night's rest. So yeah, you
Yeah.
do. You just feel like you can take on the world. But
Yeah. I'm
today
ready.
we're going to talk a bit about branding. And in November of last year, Teresa and I, well, we've done a few episodes about branding, but we've talked a bit about that and we wanted to share some information on that because, people make it so complicated. But
Yeah.
branding, I mean, they've got all of this information coming at you constantly about branding, and you don't know if you're making missteps or if you're doing the right thing. So, we're going to talk a little bit about branding today on
Can I
Evenings
start
Off.
us with the definition that I found?
Definitions are always good. Yeah, yeah,
So, personal branding refers to the process of creating and managing a distinct and recognizable image or identity of oneself for oneself. And so today we're talking about personal branding specifically, not corporate branding, although we might use some examples of corporate branding along the way. It involves defining and promoting your unique qualities, skills, values, and personality to differentiate yourself from others in both personal and professional contexts.
yeah. And you want to be your authentic self, but Teresa, it's scary too in today's world with
Oh,
branding. And when you talk about
if
letting
you
people
rely on
know
corporate America.
right, but even, like your personal lives, when you're letting people know about your opinion of being true about who you are, oh, it can be so dangerous. But I mean, the waters get a little murky because of the climate that we're in. But actually, whether you know it or not, everyone has a personal brand. Even if you think you don't have one, you have one because your personal brand is based on your actions, your communications. So everybody's got one.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you started out earlier by saying that it was simple, right? And it is, and it can be, and we make it harder than what it is.
Make it
But
hard. You make
because
everything so complicated.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it is just simply what I hate to say this. People think of us, right?
Well, it is.
And how
It
they
is.
perceive us, how they perceive us. So,
Right,
yeah.
right,
Yeah,
right.
and
And
that I think you're right in thinking and saying that it's scary, right? It
well,
can
it
be.
is.
Yeah.
And so, what we want to do when we talk about personal branding is to work to develop your brand so that
Right.
you have more control over what people are seeing about who you are.
Right.
So, you're taking more control and being active and making sure that you're having the communications or that people know about who you are through your actions, what you desire for them to know. So,
That's key. That's so key. What you
yeah,
desire them to know,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Teresa,
Bec-
I'm a little distracted because I'm looking at me on video and your eyebrows are perfect. And apparently, I got something going on with one of mine. And it's okay. All right. I think I just need to straighten it out. Okay, here we go.
look, girl.
See, it's my personal brand. I'll be known as the lady with the messed up eyebrows, one necessary. I don't want that. I don't want that. See, and that I just helped the audience with something. If there's
Oh yeah.
something you don't want out there, take steps immediately
to
Take
change it.
corrective action. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't make
take
it
corrective.
complicated. Yeah.
Take
Okay, go
corrective.
on, Tariq.
Thank you for taking one for the
I'm,
team.
I'm always working for earrings off all the time. I'm trying to help.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Lou. Okay, we digress. So you were saying though, Lou, what were you saying?
I was just saying that we have to make sure that we're in more control
Oh yeah,
of it.
yeah, and that,
Because the reality is, if you're out in public, if you're doing things, people are going to see and hear. And
right.
so, what are you doing to try to have more control over the narrative, your branding?
Right.
Yeah,
For a specific example of if you're in the workforce
yeah,
and
yeah.
you're looking to change jobs or
And if you're
uh,
not a trust fund baby, we hope you are. That you're earning some money. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay,
yeah,
go
and
on.
so if
I
you're in
said
the
that because I saw a video last night about a trust fund baby. I'm telling you, that's amazing. Go on, Teresa.
that is amazing. Um, if you are in the workforce and you are looking for a job or you're looking for a promotion on your job, in today's climate, information about you can be found readily. If you have any online profiles, someone
Yeah,
can look up. So your brand has to show that you're, if it's a position where they need you to be trustworthy, you should be showing up as trustworthy in your professional in your online profiles, right? In your online social media.
right,
So you have to be
right.
careful and intentional and curate your not so much curate because then you're not being authentic. You have to be you have to be your authentic self, but still know that if you are putting things out there, if you're looking for a job that requires you to be trustworthy and you're showing your social media shows up that you're not, right? So
Yeah,
those are
yeah,
contradicting brands, right?
yeah. And that's so true, Teresa, because people now, when you're interviewing, when you're considering, when you're recruiting, they're looking at all of that. And it's not just the people that are hiring. I had an experience where a potential employee looked me up and did the search and wanted to know about who I was. And so they were very clear in coming to the interview that they'd done their research because they wanted to make sure that they were a good fit, that we were a good fit for them. When you think about changing positions, that's a big thing. You don't know where, people can sell you anything and you don't really know until you actually get there about the environment. So he was very good about looking at a lot of information and a lot of information on me. And I was quite impressed with that.
Yeah.
But also, Teresa, colleges are looking at branding
Oh yeah.
because there have been cases where universities have rescinded admission offers to students because of what was out there in the public domain. So, yeah, branding is very, very important. And
Right.
so
And
you don't
so
want
that
people
goes to
shaping your message. Yeah.
so that goes to, it's a conversation that I've had or with young people. So their LinkedIn profile and um their LinkedIn profile basically and how they conduct themselves or how they conduct themselves in a professional environment is there, right? But then they might have their social media showing them turning it up, partying and having a good old time, which is also part of their lives. But the
Yeah.
problem with the problem there is consistency, right? You have to maintain consistency in your actions and your communication in your
Mhm.
online presence because that is your brand. It
Well,
has
it
to
even,
be, you know,
yeah. Well,
personable and reliable.
well, and I tell you, a few years ago, I saw a video of a young woman, and apparently that I know, that she had been out and apparently had too much to drink and thought
Mhm.
that was a good time to make a video. And unfortunately, when you're, you had a little too much, you think that some things are a good idea, which are not. And that I just felt for her when I saw the video because it's out there now. And this is a very responsible young woman, but I just hate the hit that she took as a result of that. So we have to be careful about that because and some people would say, well, if people get an impression of me, that's on them that they don't know. But you know what? It can impact you. And if you can take better control, why wouldn't you do that? Because it
Right.
saves yourself some heartache and challenges maybe down the road. And that's part of life is anticipating where the hiccups may be. And so that you then get in a position so that you can avoid those. So we also know people feel like, well, in today's climate, things are a bit more casual. And so we can take out a phone and we can use that as our headshot on our, professional profiles. But that's just not going to cut it. When you're trying to make sure part of branding is putting your best foot forward, and you want to make sure you get a professional headshot that that you understand how important it is what people see and what image you're projecting out in the public. So think about that as well.
Yeah, yeah, people play out their lives on social media, but then
Yeah.
you but then you want to work in corporate America. So you have the two opposing, you know,
Right.
opportunities there, right? So how, what I'm thinking about is hard is that whole thing about consistency, like having that same look. So, my advice is, you know, make your pages private, right? Your
Mhm.
personal page is private. Your LinkedIn, use your LinkedIn for professional because it's all that is it's important for that is it's important for you to have a online presence nowadays too because folks, if they don't find something on you, then they make things up in their own heads, unfortunately.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
And also, you want to make sure that you're being consistent in, the name that you put out there in the public. Because in some cases, I'm Lou Brown Ali, and in some cases, I'm Lou Ali. So just to say, okay, in my profile, in my profiles across various social media platforms, this is what I'm going to be presenting. So I can consistently do that. So,
Yeah. And using personal stories to establish your brand. Stories help others relate to you. Don't be afraid to share your story, and it's all relative. So our slant this morning is leaning toward corporate, but if you're an artist or you're a musician, if you are a doctor, you know the way you approach your brand might be slightly different, right? But today we're focusing specifically on.
sometimes something as simple as you engage in, even, when you make a comment, sometimes something as simple as you engage in, even, when you make a comment on something that someone else has posted, that's part of who you are. So just being mindful that, social media has made the world much smaller in a lot of ways because there's just access to a lot of information. Thank you so much, Yvette and Denise, for joining us, for joining the show here on Earrings Off. But Teresa, when we talk about personal stories, even is stories can be used, you're right, to inspire, but they can also be used to educate if maybe we've had a hiccup or something, then maybe that's an opportunity for you to take control of the narrative and
Yeah.
to get out in front of an issue. So, personal branding, it should be as simple as it's your actions, your communications, it's your authentic self. But in today's climate, sometimes it could be so much more. So you do want to make sure that you're aware first of all, like you said, Teresa, understanding the definition, what it is, but also people sometimes say, well, I'm not into that. I don't have a brand. Yeah, you really do. Whether you know it or not, if you're alive and breathing, you have a brand. Even if you're not on social media, your brand is that you're not on Facebook. People know that, you know?
Right,
So
right.
you're there. So it's who you are. And so again, what message do you want to send? And Teresa, you're right.
You are, you have to stand in that and understand and be strong in it. And just, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
self help and self understanding. And I don't even know where I'm going with this, but all I want people to know
Well,
is be strong in yourself and know that your brand is your brand and you are who you are, no matter
well,
what people think of you.
and that's true, but also be aware that the reality is some people, their whole thing or their brand is to just be mean spirited and to be
Yeah.
haters and to come at you for no reason. So also be aware that that's part of it as well.
Yeah.
So, you can't really be thin skinned about it because some people, that's their brand. You may say, I don't know why that would be your thing. That would be who you are authentically. But the world is big. You have all kinds of people in it. And that's what happens. So be mindful of that when you open yourself up to sharing, you know?
Yeah. And if you get feedback from somebody, right? Take it as that. It's feedback. If it applies to you and there's something you can learn from it and grow from, then do. But if it's nonsense, just in one ear and out the other, as they say. But
Yeah.
it's always good, to continuously improve your skills, right? And you know, just stay abreast of what's going on in your industry. Um, and yeah.
As hosts of Hearings On, because when we start
Yeah.
as hosts of Hearings On, because when we started this podcast, this journey, all of this was so very new and intimidating to us to even have our images out there and our words on our website, and even more so when we're doing interviews and we're preparing, and it's all out there, it's in the public domain. So that's part of it. And it depends on not only your industry, your career goals, but what you do. If it's a part, if branding is required, if putting yourself is out there is required, then be mindful of that before you jump in those waters, because let me tell you, it can be scary, but even with that, Teresa, it can also be fun because we have met people such amazing people. And
Networking. Networking.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And we said we started Earrings Off as an educational vehicle to share information, but I know you join me in believing that we have been educated, that we gained so much from the interaction. So hopefully that this message today will somehow resonate with folks. That this message today will somehow resonate with folks, and it a little better, and also understand the implications. So yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
yeah.
We, Lou and I, earrings off, we feel and believe that it is important to set aside dedicated time for reflection, meditation, and intentional thinking because it is essential for our mental and emotional well being, our personal growth, and our ability to cultivate a more purposeful and fulfilling life. So, you
Yeah.
were going to say something, Lou?
Well, just because we're live, I can't say this as a sidebar, but Teresa, in our notes, you may have the wrong mantra for this morning. I just sent it right before we started, but this is our good day mantra for this morning.
Not
So
cusp of a new day.
no, so I will go through the mantra for
Yes, thank you.
today. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, as Teresa said, a mantra is an affirmation, and it is so very important. And some people may just poo poo it away, but it's important what we say to ourselves um, as we set the tone for the day. So, today is a good day. I will make it so. My reality is formed by what my mind tells it. Today, this day, I am healthy and well. I'm at peace. I extend kindness to myself and to others. In my actions and interactions today, I lead with commitment to do better and be better. I commit to being part.
www.earringsoff.com. Also follow us on Instagram at The Earrings Off Podcast. All of our shows simulcast on YouTube. So if you have friends who don't have access to Fireside, please tell them about us and have them join us on YouTube. Again, thanks so much for joining us and take good care.